Imagine a day unlike any other in Earth history. Not the day of the impact itself, but the day after. The day the world woke up to a new, terrifying reality. 24 hours have passed since a 6-mile-wide asteroid, traveling faster than a speeding bullet, slammed into the shallow seas of the Yucatan Peninsula. The age of dinosaurs is over. The Cenozoic era has begun, born in fire and darkness. Let's journey back 66 million years to witness the immediate aftermath of the Chicxulub impactor. The initial blast was incomprehensibly violent, equivalent to billions of atomic bombs. It vaporized everything for hundreds of miles, carving a crater over 100 miles wide and 12 miles deep. The shockwave flattened forests across continents, and the heat flash incinerated any living thing that wasn't sheltered. But that was just the beginning. Now, one day later, the planet is unrecognizable. The sky, which should be blue, is an impenetrable shroud of black. Sunlight is completely blocked by a thick, choking cloud of vaporized rock, dust, and sulfur aerosols blasted into the upper atmosphere. A profound, planet-wide darkness has fallen, a nuclear winter that will last for months, maybe even years. Photosynthesis has stopped. Plants are beginning to die on a global scale, cutting off the food chain at its very source. The temperature, which initially spiked to oven-like levels near the impact, is now plummeting. Without the sun's warmth, a chilling cold is creeping across the globe. For the creatures that survived the initial blast, a new, insidious threat emerges. Freezing temperatures in a world that was, just a day before, a tropical paradise for many. And the air itself is toxic. The impact vaporized sulfur-rich rocks from the seabed, injecting vast quantities of sulfur compounds into the atmosphere. This mixes with water vapor to create a constant, drizzling rain of sulfuric acid. It's not just water falling from the sky. It's a corrosive shower that burns skin, poisons soil, and turns freshwater sources acidic. The oceans, the cradle of life, are suffering a catastrophic blow as their surface waters become more acidic, spelling doom for plankton and the countless species that depend on them. What about the sound? The initial impact would have been the loudest sound in the history of life, but 24 hours later, a different soundscape emerges. The world is eerily quiet, punctuated by the horrifying rumble of near-constant earthquakes. The planet is still ringing like a bell from the colossal impact, triggering seismic activity along fault lines thousands of miles away. These quakes, in turn, trigger massive landslides and further tsunamis that continue to scour coastlines. And there's the rain of fire. Material ejected from the cratered tiny spheres of molten rock called spherules was thrown high above the atmosphere. Now, it's raining back down, re-entering the atmosphere all over the globe like trillions of shooting stars. As they fall, they heat up, turning the sky into a hellish broiler. Any exposed vegetation that survived the initial blast wave now catches fire, igniting continent-spanning wildfires. Smoke and soot pour into the already clogged atmosphere, adding to the suffocating darkness. So, who survived this first horrific day? Not the titans. The non-avian dinosaurs are gone. The colossal Tyrannosaurus rex, the gentle giant Triceratops, the soaring pterosaurs, they were either vaporized, burned, crushed, or are now starving and freezing in the dark. Their size was their downfall. Large animals with big appetites simply couldn't find enough food in this barren, sunless world. But life, as they say, finds a way. In the shadows, under the ground, and in the deep waters, survivors are hunkering down. Our own distant ancestors, small, shrew-like mammals, are among them. They were nocturnal, used to living in darkness. They were burrowers, able to escape the worst of the heat, acid rain, and encroaching cold. Their small size meant they needed less food, and their diet was versatile insects. Worms, roots, anything they could find in the decaying world around them. In the freshwater rivers and lakes, creatures like crocodiles and turtles found refuge. Their cold-blooded metabolism allowed them to go for long periods without food, and the water buffered them from the most extreme temperature swings. Some birds, the direct descendants of dinosaurs, also survived. Perhaps those with beaks adapted for eating seeds. which could lie dormant in the soil for years, had an advantage over those that ate insects or fruit. In the oceans, life in the deep sea, far from the acidified surface, carried on, oblivious to the chaos above. Deep sea vent communities, which rely on chemical energy from the Earth's core rather than sunlight, were largely unaffected. This first day was a filter, a planetary reset button. It wasn't about being the strongest or the biggest. Survival was a game of luck and adaptation. It was about being small, being versatile, being able to hide, and being able to make a meal out of whatever was left. The world had been cleared of its long-reigning kings. The survivors of this first terrible day found themselves in a silent, dark, and empty world. It was a world of unimaginable horror, but it was also a world of unprecedented opportunity. The death of the dinosaurs left a void. As the dust eventually settled over months and years, and sunlight timidly returned to the Earth's surface, these humble survivors would emerge from their burrows and shelters. They would step out into a new world, one where the rules had fundamentally changed. The mammals, for so long living in the shadow of giants, now had a planet to themselves. This cataclysm, this end of an era, was also a beginning. It was the brutal, fiery birth of the world we know today. The beginning of the age of mammals and the distant, unlikely start of our own human story. The day after the impact wasn't just an ending. It was the most important and dramatic starting line in the history of our own lineage. A world cleansed by fire, waiting for new life to rise from the ashes. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this as fascinating as I do, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into our planet's incredible history. See you next time.